The following presentation is brought to you by Rise to the Rescue, supporting Joe Glean, prospective delegate for Virginia's 44th House District.
Mr. Surovell.
My good friend from Hanover rise for question.
Will the gentleman yield?
Yes, I will yield.
Gentleman yield.
I've been reading a lot in the I've been reading in the paper that the United States military has been offering a new program to author a path to citizenship for its veterans, for people who are not legally here to become a citizen if they register with the United States military. And I've also noticed this session that my friend and fellow freshman from Virginia Beach offered a bill to give, to make sure we can give in-state tuition to the spouses of veterans. And I want to say I also remember a bill about in-state tuition to veterans. And it was my question is whether it was the gentleman's intention to prohibit a veteran or the spouse of a veteran from getting in-state tuition or being able to enroll with this bill.
Mr. Speaker, I'm not sure it references anything about military or veterans in this bill. It speaks to people who are not citizens. And remarking on a comment that was made by another gentleman friend from Northern Virginia, I'm not sure what it means to be basically American. I think you're either American or you're not. I can understand people wanting to come to this country. But what this bill seeks to do is simply to codify what is existing practice. These aren't at-risk kids, and the hyperbole about them joining a gang is just way off base. I mean, if they're in a university or college that doesn't have a policy, they're paying $30,000, $35,000 to go there. They're not at risk, and I'd rather them go to the University of North Carolina and pay that out-of-state rate. And frankly, if federal policy were to change, how many more people would we see coming to this state, this Commonwealth, and availing themselves of these schools? I spoke to Delegate Hugo, who has a bill every year about opening up the doors to Virginians for our college universities, and I support that. This bill is nothing different than those measures to try to do so.
Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker.
I've got a bill on the floor right now. Gentleman Fairfax, Mr. Surovell.
No, I thank the gentleman.
I beg your pardon?
I don't have any further questions.
Okay.
Mr. Speaker, will the gentleman from Fairfax answer a question?
The gentleman from Manassas, Mr. Jackson.
Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, I rise to ask the gentleman from Fairfax a question.
Will the gentleman yield?
Yes.
Gentleman yields.
Mr. Speaker, was the gentleman from Fairfax comparing the selfless sacrifice and service of people entering our military to that of the privilege and benefit of those going to our universities?
Mr. Speaker, no, what I was pointing out is that the military has established a policy of trying to welcome these people in to our country by providing them a pathway to citizenship. And those people frequently have spouses and they have children. This body just this year has passed legislation to grant in-state tuition to make sure we get in-state tuition to the spouses of veterans. And I think this bill is in conflict with the bills we've also passed this year. I would also note, Mr. Speaker, that it's my understanding that the first Marine that was killed in Iraq was undocumented. You don't have to be legally here to join the United States military. And I'm trying to get to the bottom of these conflicting policies that we're passing this session. I think it's important that we be clear.
Mr. Speaker, will he answer a further question?
Will the gentleman yield?
Yes, sir.
Gentleman yields.
Mr. Speaker, is the gentleman from Fairfax not aware that you must be legally present in the country? Yes, you can be an immigrant, but you must be legally present in the country to enlist in our military. And yes, the military then does provide a pathway to citizenship?
Mr. Speaker, I will answer. I stand corrected. I agree that you have to at least have a visa. You have to be legally present to enlist. I agree with the gentleman, and I apologize if I stated otherwise.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and speak to the bill when appropriate.